whenever anyone has a problem or they have an issue in Texas State, whether it's with the faculty staff or just how Texas State is, I feel like I'm that person that you should come to.
Meet the new student body president and vice president and hear what they have planned for the next year.
Your generation, Gen Zers, are pretty smart about looking back and seeing what their parents and grandparents did, and I think they're making better choices.
New research shows that one generation is behaving better than the others. We'll show you which one, and later.
Drive out to center, and out it goes!
A Bobcat softball star set the record this season, but it's probably not the one you're thinking of.
And if you ever sing Broadway songs in your car, you know you do, we'll show you where to belt out those show tunes for real. Hi, and welcome to this edition of Bobcat Update. I'm Rachel Perez.
And I'm Gisela Morones. Thank you so much for joining us. The new student body president and vice president were just sworn into office. The Bobcats in Bloom ticket won the presidency and vice presidency. Johanna Ajayi is our new student government president. She's a sophomore finance major who ran on a ticket to be inclusive of all voices. Her vice president, Keller Hammock, is a junior accounting major. They got 3 times as many votes as the New Horizon Coalition. After their inauguration, they sat down to talk with reporter Andrea Martinez from the University Star and Star News.
Hello, I'm Andrea Martinez, and today we are joined with some very special guests, our new president and vice president of student government, Johanna and Keller. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yes. So I'm going to start off this interview with just giving you a chance to introduce yourself and explain what are some of the responsibilities you have as student president and vice president.
Okay. I would say the best way to explain our jobs, or at least my job, is to be the voice of the people. Whenever anyone has a problem or they have an issue in Texas State, whether it's with the faculty staff or just how Texas State is, I feel like I'm that person that you should come to, and like I would try my best to hear you out and then connect you with the right person who can help you solve your issue. Yeah.
So Johanna is the microphone, I'm the speaker, basically.
Yeah.
I take the issues that she brings to me and I get them passed through the student senate as I'm the leader, and we get legislation written, all that kind of thing.
What kind of changes should they expect on campus coming up?
One of the things we definitely said, and we are going to follow through our campaign, was diversity and inclusivity. We want you to look at your leaders, especially during our cabinet. Our applications are actually open right now for anyone who feels like they're a leader to apply. We want our cabinet to be extremely diverse. That way you're always able to see yourself in people in leadership positions.
The slogan for the Bobcats in Bloom campaign was "Where every voice blossoms." So what does that really mean to you in tying into the diversity?
So we said it over and over during our campaign. Every time we'd visit an organization, we'd tell them, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. You know, we're here to advocate for the student body. You know, there are obviously limitations to what student government can do, but the thing we absolutely can do, bare minimum, is get in the room. We have meetings with the provost, meeting with the president, meeting with all the deans, you know. So we take the issues that the student body brings to us through our diverse cabinet, through our meetings with various student orgs, through the senators from every college and the senators at large. Taking those issues and getting them all the way up the ladder is what we meant by that.
What does success look like for you at the end of the semester?
Success looks like us, well, I feel like sometimes we come to Texas State for 4 years and it just feels like we're running through the motion. It doesn't really feel like Texas State is your home sometimes. And I feel like being here for so long, you spend like 90% of your time at this university. I really want everyone here to feel like Texas State is their home. Like, you know, when you come back from after being like an alumni, you like, you know, like, okay, my mark was left here. Like, I remember this memories, you know, things like that. So I really want students at Texas State to feel like they're not just another number, they're not just another statistics, like have great numbers of like incoming freshmen or like have numbers to fill up the TSUS board, where you're actually a student and you actually matter.
New research shows that one generation of Americans that smokes less than others is less likely to use drugs or get pregnant before they're married. It's us, Gen Z. Reporter Dax Lahone talked with some students and a professor who has looked into this.
From nights out to social habits, Gen Z is changing what it means to unwind. Studies show that younger adults are drinking less alcohol and smoking at lower rates than millennials and Gen X did at the same age. Experts say technology is playing a major role in that shift.
You know the picture that's in the encyclopedias with the apes and evolution, I do wonder if we're going to be like this. We're going to really make a difference there. But back to your question as far as behaviors, I just think smoking became a really bad vice, if you will. Your generation, Gen Zers, are pretty smart about looking back and seeing what their parents and grandparents did, how they grew up, and I think they're making better choices in some respect. I would say the screen might be the challenge.
While traditional vices may be declining,
Gen Z isn't avoiding habits altogether. It's just redefining what those habits look like.
I think people still go out, but it's not like focused on drinking. It's more, I feel like people are doing like activities more, and the focus isn't as like on drinking anymore.
Whether it's prioritizing health, social image, or new ways of connecting, Gen Z's lifestyle is shifting away from older norms. And as this generation continues to grow, those changing habits could have long-term effects on everything from social culture to major industries. For Bobcat Update, I'm Dax Lahone.
As summer approaches, it's a reminder of the tragedy that struck the Hill Country last year. On July 4th, heavy rain caused record flash flooding, sweeping away homes near rivers and devastating a summer camp. The flood took 137 lives, including 25 young children and others at Camp Mystic. One criticism at the time was that there was no cell service in the camps, so no emergency alerts. The Texas Tribune reports state lawmakers passed new laws last year to dramatically increase phone and internet connectivity in these remote camps. But 19 camps sued, saying it was too expensive and difficult. Lawmakers compromised for now and won't require the new web access. Meanwhile, the family that owns Camp Mystic announced they were canceling camp for the summer.
The other big story this summer, Texas State will join the new Pac-12 conference in about 6 weeks. The new conference kicks off July 1st, although some new Pac-12 opponents have already visited here for baseball, including Gonzaga and Washington State. Because of the new conference alignment, the Bobcats will enjoy 7 home games during the football season this fall, and Bobcat Athletics will bank at least twice as much revenue from TV rights as they did in the Sun Belt Conference. Speaking of sports, Bobcat softball has a fearsome hitter on the team.
Yeah, Ayanna Coleman pounded a grand slam to help the Cats win their last game. And that's sort of the reason she set a record for something else entirely. We'll explain.
Some crazy video and a crazier story. You won't believe what knocked this truck off a highway in Baltimore. Plus,
but they're treasures because they tell the stories of the people, in our collections.
We'll take you on a trip through time stretching back 4 decades, and it's right inside Alkek Library.
But Broadway seems to be one of the more popular ones, so I bring that back at least like once a month or every other month.
Defying Gravity from Wicked, Alexander Hamilton, Michael Jackson. We'll show you where you can sing like a Broadway star right here in San Marvelous.
San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter's mission is to care for, protect, and find quality homes for abandoned and neglected animals. Approximately 6.5 million animals enter shelter, and only 3 million of those animals are adopted each year. More than half of those animals are left in the shelter without a home. Save a life and adopt or foster today. Contact the San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter at 512-805-2650. San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter, protecting and saving the lives of the pets of San Marcos.
That's Warren Broadley Jr. He was out doing his usual job delivering baked goods in Baltimore. Then this happened. What hit his truck? A United Airlines 767, just before it landed on the runway. The driver was treated for cuts on his arm from the jet's wheel smashing out his window, but incredibly, nobody else was hurt, on the road or in the plane. That flight from Venice, Italy landed safely. That's crazy. I'm so glad he's okay.
Yeah, nobody else got hurt, which is amazing.
We have a much nicer story to share with you now.
Next time you jump in a river around here, you may not be alone. Reporter Hayden Eiler shows us the annual return of the river otters.
Over the last few years, river otters have slowly returned to San Marcos, and the spring of 2026 is no exception. I'm here on the San Marcos River, where the University Star reported our newest San Martians have returned once again. This is the 6th year the otters have returned since the fur trade of the previous centuries cast them out, and this reporter is happy to have them. Because not only are these adorable critters great to watch, but they indicate something much better. In an interview with the University Star, Virginia Parker, executive director of the San Marcos River Foundation, said this about the otters. We're seeing the population rebound on the San Marcos River, and that is not only indicative of a healthy ecosystem, but it's also indicative of the fact that the fur trade is not as relevant today. While the fur trade may not be as explosive as it was 200 years ago, its effects still haunt the otter population, making them extremely distrustful of humans. If you want to try and get a look at them for yourself, Spring Lake is the place to be. And while they can rarely be spotted closer to the shore, your best bet is to get out there on the river for yourself. Parker has experience encountering these creatures, recalling how she got to watch him for about 20 minutes and how special the experience was to her. She urges residents not to engage with them as they can be violent. They are predators after all, and their main job in the ecosystem is to control the population of fish. So keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times, in case they get mistaken for some guppies. Their return is a clear indicator of a healthy river, as they don't just manage the fish population, but any species that's overcrowding the water. Ivan Castro Arellano, an associate professor of biology, also spoke to the Star about the otters' comeback. They told the Star that the biggest threats to the otters' population are development, pollution, and drought. And while the city currently is in a drought, he said that the ecosystem is thriving despite that fact. If you want to get out there for yourself, he recommends waking up early and heading down to the river or the boardwalk or Sewell Park if you want to get specific. It should be reiterated that human interaction can be harmful to both the otters and to yourself. Parker also urges residents to be careful when walking in the river, to not trample over any vegetation that helps the ecosystem. For Bobcat Update, I'm Hayden Eiler.
Here at Texas State, there's an important resource for researchers interested in Texas history.
It's the Wittliff Collections on the 7th floor of the Outkick. The Wittliff was founded in 1986 by Bill and Sally Wittliff. It's full of documents, manuscripts, diaries, photos, and more from important Texans over the years. It's not a museum, it's a research archive.
But the curators always have various exhibits set up to showcase some of their great stuff in their collection. That includes a recent exhibit showcasing their 40th anniversary. Reporter Mason Lusk takes us inside.
Do eclectic items, articles, or anything else interest you? If so, the Wittliff display is right up your alley. This southwestern exhibit, located in San Marcos, Texas, on the 7th floor of the Alkek Library on Texas State's campus, is celebrating its 40th anniversary of showcasing items, articles, and many other exciting things for the public. We were able to catch an interview with Carrie Fountain, a poet and the woman who's responsible for this 40th anniversary display. Here's what she said.
These aren't necessarily the most valuable, like monetarily, of the objects in our collection, but they're treasures because they tell the stories of the people, in our collections. Like the Southwest is an eclectic place that draws people in or, births people into this world and with a kind of eclectic point of view.
The Wittliff was founded back in 1986 by Bill Wittliff and his wife Sally. They have fostered some of the most incredible displays over the years, and the 40th anniversary exhibit is absolutely no different.
We've had Cormac McCarthy's papers. Cormac McCarthy himself, we acquired the papers from McCarthy in his lifetime. I think he knew Bill Wittliff and was, Bill Wittliff, the founder of the Wittliff, knew everyone.
Wittliff had significant contributions as a screenwriter, photographer, author, publisher, and that's only barely scratching the surface of his multifaceted life. We were also able to sit down with Mark Willenborg. Here's what he had to say.
We collect and preserve things so that the next generation of creatives can be inspired.
What had once only held Mr. and Mrs. Wittliff's personal papers has evolved into a display of all items within Southwestern culture.
Bobcats softball had a really strong season, going 37-19 and getting deep into the Sun Belt Conference Championship. One reason for that, first baseman Ayanna Coleman, who is a powerhouse at the plate. Reporter Caden Besant found out she can be too good to pitch to.
Ayanna Coleman continues to prove why she's one of the best Bobcats to do it. In only 2 seasons, she's found her way into the record books, but this time it wasn't for the long ball. She now holds Texas State's single-season walk record. Head coach Ricky Woodard had this to say.
Yeah, it's fun, but you better have somebody that can hit behind her. That's what I've learned. But she's a fun kid to have in the lineup for sure.
The same day she achieved the walks record, Coleman earned the highest respect in softball, being walked with the bases loaded. Here's what the senior said about her accomplishment.
I think it's just super special. I think just sticking to the plan and trusting my teammates. I think my teammates are definitely the reason why. Just having that motivation to want to do it for them, and then having my family be here is super fun.
In her final at-bat in San Marcos, Coleman proved why walking her with the bases loaded isn't such a bad idea after all.
Drive out to center, and out it goes. Go-ahead grand slam. Ayanna Coleman.
Coleman has a chance to continue her short but great Bobcat career as they close out the regular season at App State this weekend. Caden Besant, Bobcat Update.
Hey Gisela, do you ever sing at home or on your drive?
You know I do, especially on my drives home, which is about like 3 hours. There's nothing else to do, so I sing all my favorite songs. What about you?
I do. I love to sing Tick Tick Boom, so that's game over for y'all if y'all are in the car with me. But if you just can't help yourself and you love show tunes, reporter Lillian Nichols found you a stage.
Behind me is the Porch, one of San Marcos' most popular venues for weekly karaoke nights. But tonight, the stage is reserved for Broadway hits. The Porch holds weekly karaoke nights on Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., where locals gather to perform their favorites. On Tuesday nights, there's a twist, themed karaoke. With the help of local host Kiki Karaoke on Instagram, the Porch has held karaoke nights with genres like emo, country, and oldies. While you still can sing whatever you'd like, tonight they're focusing on classics with Broadway tunes.
So Tuesday nights were slow for a while, so I started adding a theme every Tuesday. So every theme is different every week. But Broadway seems to be one of the more popular ones, so I bring that back at least like once a month or every other month.
The Porch has been holding these karaoke nights for almost 3 years now, but with these new themed nights, they are able to keep things fresh, welcoming all voices, from first-timers to the seasoned performers.
Tonight is my birthday, and I wanted to continue what I usually like to do and come out here. It's a really great sense of community in a specified time that I get to see my friends and kind of carry on a tradition we've had for a while.
The Broadway lights may be associated with New York, but the Porch continues to keep it alive right here in San Marcos with themed karaoke nights every Tuesday.
That's all we have for this edition of Bobcat Update. Thanks for joining us.
This is our last episode of the semester. In fact, we're graduating. Woo! But keep an eye out on this space for more news by students for students.